Okay, let's move on now. The Patriotic Front party has rejected the results of the just ended Kabwata parliamentary elections. And yesterday, we brought you this story concerning the update. Well, the party's acting Secretary General Honorable Nickson Chilangwa is still blowing hot and talking tough as he mentions that the elections were not free and they were not fair. Well, he mentioned intimidation, violence, manipulations, and not forgetting to people not using their national registration cards as well to carry out these exercises. However, the president of Zambia Republic Party, ZRP, Right Musuma, has said that the PF should go ahead and petition the Kabwata by-election result and condemn the gimmicks by the UPND.
He also added that there was no need for fresh elections in Kabwata because the person who won the election, that's Mr. Andrew Tayengwa, was not the person the people wanted. Now, in his words, he said, and I quote, Clement Tembo and Tayengwa should go back to the polls. We need to have fresh elections because we want the best candidate to win, not someone who was helped by malpractices. Well, joining us now is the Economical and Equity Party leader, Chilufia Tayali. Many thanks for joining the program, Mr. Tayali, once again. We understand that you were one of the candidates during the election. How would you rate the ECZ process?
Well, thank you very much for having me. And how do I rate the by-elections that just ended in Kabwata constituency? From our point of view, those elections were free and fair. And we are satisfied with the results that came out, in spite of the fact that I participated in that election and lost. I think what we are having a problem mostly in our African countries, which is hindering our democracy, is the fact that most of the times when people lose an election, they don't want to concede. They always come up with all sorts of allegations, suspicions, innuendos, which is not helpful for our democracy. The Kabwata by-elections, from our point of view, it was free and fair, and the winner, who is the UPND candidate, Andrew Tayengwa, deserves the victory.
All right, let me also ask you this question quickly. Right Musuma has also applauded the move by the Christian Churches Monitoring Group in condemning injustices that were going on. What role had the CCMG played in this?
You know, the problem that we also have with these so-called electoral observers is that they take very isolated incidences and generalize them. I participated in that election and I had, agents in all the polling stations, and none of the electoral agents coming from our party is talking about some of these incidences that this organization is talking about. And I don't know which polling station where this happened, because they have just said in some polling stations, people were voting without NRCs. I wish they would be very specific to say, in this polling station, we have so many people voting without NRCs. Just putting it there, it does not help much because it is not substantiated. And this is the problem that we have with some of these electoral agents. I don't know where they're getting that. And it is unfortunate that they are coming up with this without really substantiating their allegations.
All right. Let's also look at the fact that Secretary Nickson actually made mention of the fact that the elections, or the election in particular, was not free and fair, and that voters were not given credence to actually carry out the voting process properly, and that UPND actually dominated the entire voting process. You were there. So tell us, was he right to have mentioned such?
Look, as a candidate, we are allowed to go around the polling stations. And I did that. I went through all the polling stations because I was distributing lunch to my agents. So I took opportunity, as other members of our party were distributing lunch, I was talking to the agents and the polling officers. I never saw any of those things that they were talking about, where to say, the UPND were characterized or were more in the polling stations, or whatever the allegations that they are putting up. I didn't see it. For me, I didn't see it. And I can only take it that it is the common trend, which used to happen when the UPND were in power. When UPND was in power, they didn't trust the Electoral Commission of Zambia. They were always accusing them. Now the PF are in opposition. Instead of conceding defeat, they have now taken the position that UPND took when they were in opposition, to always be suspicious of ECZ. But it is more unfortunate for the PF, because the current ECZ, the structure of ECZ, and the individuals who are in ECZ are a creation of the Patriotic Front. So I don't think the institution will just turn around overnight and start working against the people that actually conceived them. I don't think so. I think PF must be progressive and accept the defeat, because clearly the election was highly competitive. The difference is not so much. It shows, how did all these other people who voted for PF vote? We have 11,000 people voting for PF. How did they vote? So I think we should move forward and accept the elections, and not to be suspicious of the institutions that are running our elections.
All right. Acceptance is the way forward, as you've rightly said. But thank you so much for your time on Breakfast Central Economical and Equity Party Leader Chilufya Tayali.
Thank you very much.